Previously, in our tutorial,
The AnimateDiff workflow for this SDXL Lightning, I have tried out with the workflow, but it is not really performed good in detail and buried.
Oh my god.
No worry, today we have that fixed. The Stable Diffusion SDXL Lightning are able to run with AnimateDiff along with HSXL Temporal Motion Model. We have to let go with the SDXL V1 Beta model in AnimateDiff thanks to our AI community friends in Discord who gave me some ideas. And let's build this workflow together in this video. Follow along, watch till the end, and you are going to know how to run this workflow. Let's get started. So let's build this together. First, we got an empty workflow in here. Now, first thing we got to do is load video and then upscale image, or I will use resize the image if you want to do that. And that is the very basic things that we need for videos to videos, creating animation styles with that. And for loading the SDXL Lightning, we need, of course, the checkpoint models. So load checkpoints with noise select. That is the custom nodes that we need for using in this scenario, and I'm using Juggernaut XL as a very good SDXL models, checkpoint models. And then we just connect the LoRa, the low LoRa nodes. And in this step, I'm going to choose the SDXL Lightning for step LoRa models. And here is the part that I'm enable SDXL Lightning. And then we connect the clip layers with text prompt negative and positive. Now I created two colors so easier to identify. Now we are moving on to the conditioning steps. So I create conditioning groups here. So it's going to be contain our text prompt positive and negative. And also we are going to work on the control net in this group. So far here, we have the fundamental things for loading the whole workflows, models, checkpoints, LoRa's models, as well as our beta schedule for animated and load the videos. And actually, I am using the image resize here is better because it can allow me to output the image widths and height to other custom nodes groups in here. So in this conditioning, first I'm going to set up advanced control net custom nodes and then loading control net models in here, connect to the advanced control net custom nodes. Then we need the preprocessors. Now I'm using the AIO preprocessor. It's very handy preprocessor. I can select different types of preprocessors on the drop-down menus. And then I'm going to connect the resize image to the preprocessors, allow it to process for the control net models. And we are going to also tell in the resolutions for the preprocessors using the pixel perfect resolutions. And then these resolutions are going to pass in these preprocessors. And as well as later on, I'm going to duplicating multiple control net in here. So basically, we can use lastly the video combined in here as the output for our preprocessors from the control net. And you can also use image preview like the previous animations workflow that I did. But right now, I like to use this one because we can see things are moving with the control net output. So in here, we connect the image to the advanced control net, custom nodes, and also the videos combined for our display output, and as well as the other control net here. So again, you can create a preview image for this one, but I'm using the video combined and disable the save video so you don't have to save all this control net output in your output folder. So I duplicating 3 set of control net in this condition groups, and one is line art, one is death anything, and the last one is the DW post. And all of that is connecting with pixel perfect resolution. So we got the accurate width and height of the image frames. Now all of these control net models, beware, we have to use SDXL type control net models. Okay, we cannot use the SD 1.5 training models and put that into these control net groups. So beware of that. You have to select the right type of control net models in here. Don't come and blame me, it doesn't work if you select the wrong things. Okay, now go back to the conditioning here. It's almost done. We have the positive and negative text prompt, and then in the output here, we are going to pass our data to the first case sampler. So before that, we have to connect the conditioning, positive and negative connect all together with this yellow line. And then lastly, we are going to, okay, forgot this control net. We got to connect this green line for the open post, and then we are going to create something which is the case sampler. Now the positive and negative conditions are going to connect to the case sampler. Almost done in here for the first stage of case sampling, but then before that, for the modeling, the purple dot, we have to go through the animated motion models before we pass that to case sampler. So in order to do that, I'm going to create an animated control groups, and then in here, first I'm going to use this evolve sampling and then connect the sample settings that we have mentioned, these custom notes, in previous free init tutorial videos. So right now, I'm using the Gen 2 animated custom notes in here. And then right in here, we have the context options. Now the context options, we have to select this loop, uniform context options, custom notes in order to make it work for SDXL Lightning. So far we have animated, and then before AnimateDiff, of course, we have to make a style. So I'm using the good old IP adapter. That is awesome thing without typing any text prompts. And I can just use one image and represent the whole styles of these animations. So typically settings, nothing special in this IP adapter. I'm just using the IP adapter plus SDXL type for the IP adapter model, and then the clip visions. Of course, we have to select the correct type of clip visions that is matched with our IP adapter plus SDXL models. In this case, we are using the VATH clip visions, and also as well as the IP adapter model is VATH type IP adapter models. And then below that, we have to create, of course, the image for clip visions. So allowing preprocess the image before we pass into the IP adapter E-series for IP adapter to understand the image that we load in. So of course, we got to have a load image custom notes here. IP adapter basically is done in here. And we got to connect the purple line from the load LoRa to the first IP adapter models, and then set this to the styles of these animations. Now we have to test with different settings in IP adapter in different scenarios. You have different numbers of settings, and then the IP adapter model's output I'm going to use to pass into the control net. Now connect all these models, optionals, purple line in control net one by one. And then lastly, we are going to pass the purple line from control net to the animated sampling right here. So the purple line first, we are going to go to the animated, and then the last thing, we are going to go to the K-sampler. But before that, we need the motions model to load in the animated groups here. So apply animated models and then select our load animated models custom notes here. Then we have to select the correct one for motions model. Now I have tested this HSXL temporal motions model that is working for SDXL Lightning, and also in the sampling beta schedule here, we have to select the Hotshot XL that is very important for this workflow. That work and compatible with SDXL Lightning. Lastly, connect the model's output to the case sampler models. The purple line, so far everything is almost done, and the output of the case sampler, we have to do a VAE decode. Now, we have to set up a VAE decode in order to make it work. So in this case, we have to use a VE encode from the resize image frames. Now pass the latent image to the case sampler, this pink line, and then lastly the VAG encode, the red dot. Here we have to load the VAE. So let's set up one low VAE nodes here. We have to select the correct one, of course the SDXL VAE, and put that in here temporarily. That will be almost done. And then let's create groups for this first sampling steps. And then lastly, in these groups we have to set the right settings in case sampler, now the DPMPP2M sampling method, and then the scheduler. I'm using the sample simple. So using these settings are work for SDXL Lightning, and for the basic sampling step, I use 4 and CFG 1.5. And lastly, the V decode. We have to load the VE red line as well. Then looks like everything are almost done. Now I have to align everything, tied it up so we have a nice view of workflow here without all the messy things flying around like in the garbage can. So let's do a better alignment in here. And then lastly, we need a video combined for the output from the VED code output image frames. So this is the last one that will gather all the image frames and put that together as videos. So that is almost done. We have to test step by step, we have to test. So let's test it out with our hand dance videos that recently I did, and let's do it in SDXL. So we got an error. And stupidly, I forgot to load an IP adapter image here. So let's put a golden dress, this AI image that I did before. I have pretty good result with this golden dress image to stylize the characters and then the backgrounds. Let's see if this first sampling step is going quite well. So here's the result. Looks good, but frame rate is not synchronized with my settings. You see, it kind of feels like a fast forward frame rate here. So I have to lower down the frame rate to 16. So maybe 16 frame rate are suitable for this output. And then you see there's some noise on the background, right? Some little dark dot and some noise on the clothings. We can enhance that, but so far it looks good with our restyles image of this hand dance short videos. And then we can use the segmentations like my previous workflow, and also the detailers here. I need this one for enhance the image quality and the character's hands and face. So let's copy these groups. I have to move these groups of custom nodes to this new workflow diagram. Let's create detailer groups here. I will put that segmentation's detailer custom nodes in here. So copy and paste that. And we have to retrieve the image frames from the VE decode in first sampling. And then we connect those image output all together in here. So we have a video combined for the detailer result. And lastly, we have to connect this to basic pipe. This basic pipe are going to retrieve the positive and negative conditioning. And then go to VAE. We need to connect this red line from the low VAE. And then also the clip layers, the yellow dot. We have to fund that one. Actually, we connect this model first. So that is the animated model output, the purple line. Connect to the model's dot and then bring it up to the loaders group. We need this clip layers settings, the yellow line here, we have to connect this. And finally, we are done with that pipeline. And lastly, in the animated detailers group here, we need to set the correct sampling steps, schedulers, the sampler method, and also, as well as the CFG, we have to set the correct one. And then the denoise, I usually put 0.2 or 0.35. That will be ideally for the detailers to work on without too much change from my original image. So let's wait for this detailer's work and load our detailer result. So here we got our detailer result let's resume the videos. Now this is more clean. As you can see, the first sampling output, there's still some mark on the face. Because of the original videos, the dancer are wearing a mask. And after the detailers, we have enhanced it to clean up the face without the mark of the mask, the face mask. And then in this method, I'm using the detailer for face. And you can also use detailer for hands, for characters, person, in the segmentations, drop-down menus. You can do that. And then you can also create a second sampling groups here. Maybe you can use latent upscaled by, let's say, 1.2. So upscale that little bit in the second sampling groups. And then pass that sampling group output to the detailers at the final output. So that is also a way to work with for making more details and clean up the animations, less noise, the dark little dot on the image frames. And as simple as that, the case sampler are also connecting all the models, conditioning, and then the output of the latent image from our first sampling. That is a very important thing to note here. And then also we're duplicating this V encode and decode, just like what we did in the first sampling group. And let's call this the second sampling. Yes. So let's make this tidied up and we can have a nice view of the second sampling as well. So I'm not going to save all these different video combined. I am only save like the detailer, and even later on I can do the upscalers video combined and then I will save those results. But this first and second sampling groups, the output are only for preview only. I just use that for preview, the progress of the videos work on. I'm not going to just save every video's combined result in my output folder. So let's run this second sampling groups and see how it goes. So in this case, it will go to the second sampling because the first sampling is run already. ComfyUI are very smart that it doesn't go through everything from the beginning when I add new custom notes, and that is the beauty of ComfyUI. And we don't have to run everything all over again like in Automatic 1111. So it's partially loading after we add the new sampling group and wait for that. And by the way, I will post this progress in the Discord group because we are chatting right now while I am recording these videos and people are having fun in here. We have many brainstorm and chatting about AI's business, all kind of great stuff. Many great people here inspiring each other. So I encourage you guys to join our Discord group if you are like-minded people, but we are going very straightforward. If you are jerks, then I will kick you off. If you are good people, nice people, we will let you stay here. So come over if you like to join our conversations in Discord group. It's pretty cool. Many cool people right here, and let's wait for the second sampling and we can see our output result. So by the way, this is very similar to my previous animated workflow for SD 1.5, LCM, all kinds of stuff. But then there's some setting change. Especially in the case sampler, we need to use this sampling method and then the scheduler have to use simple in order to let SDXL Lightning to work. Make it smooth and without any blur effect on the output result. So the second sampling are already clean up the noise from the first sampling, and at this time let's enable the detailer again and I will enhance the hands. Let's see if I can do better performance on the hands from the second sampling this time. So let's load it up. It should be very fast because SDXL Lightning, and also it's just only running this group, particularly this detailer group only. So I think guys, you should create a habit like bypass or disable some detailer groups or the second sampling groups and test your output in the first samplings group. And before you confirm this is the correct styles you want to run, this is the right animations you want, you expect it, and then you can eventually enable each sampling groups and detailer groups to enhance the output further. So this is the output videos from detailers. I have enabled the save option, so this will be saved in my output folder. Let's put all this output side by side and you can compare it. So the first sampling step, as you can see, there's some little mark on the face, some shadows, and then the background have some dark noise on the back. The second sampling groups have lowered those noise and then clean up the face. And the skin tone of the body is cleaning up, very smooth. And then the last one, detailers. This time I choose hands to enhance, so it will enhance the hands motion. And then no less fingers, no extra fingers like that. And I will save these files for Patreon supporters and you guys can try it out. And if you want to test it out and have some questions, feel free to ask in Patreon and Discord. And yeah, join the Discord group if you want to chit-chat and brainstorm more ideas. And yeah, I see you guys in the next videos. So have a nice day. Bye.